Bonus.
So I get this. So as I was logging into my computer, this push notification comes up from the news app, and it's and I admittedly I haven't clicked on it, but it's a New Yorker article that says the ethical implications of reclining your airplane seat. Right. And again, I have not clicked on the link, so I want to be but I was thinking about how, it didn't used to be an ethical issue. You just used to be able to recline your seat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Why is that? Because the airplanes made enough room available for someone to be able to recline their seat and not have it impinge on the person behind them.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so these airlines are like, well, let's just cram more people in here like abused sardines.
Uh-huh.
And then make them feel like shit for wanting just like a modicum of comfort in this flying. I was going to say bus, but actually that does a disservice to buses, because buses allow a little bit more personal space than what we get on most economy airlines.
Yes. And do you imagine that someone said, well, now that they're cramped so tight, maybe we should remove the reclining function because that will put the back of the seat in the person behind them's face? And you have to imagine they were like, no, we can't get, if we take that away, they'll feel like they're getting less value, and then they will riot.
Let's give them a half inch of give, and act like we're doing them a favor.
Yeah. It's so true. And it's funny because when the seat does come into my face, and now that most of the airlines have screens there now, and it's just like, coming right at my face. I'm like, whoa, okay, like this is a new dynamic. Or there's something on the little table in front of me that my Coke could get knocked over if I have it in the wrong spot, right? And so that's annoying, but I also have enough, I think, awareness to not be mad at the person because they're not doing anything wrong, but it's still annoying. And then when I recline my seat, I am thinking, sorry, as I'm like going back. You're right. They're putting it on us. Why are they putting it on us?
Why is that our problem? I was thinking about how as movie theater seats have gotten more comfortable, like movies, you can lie horizontally at this point.
You can go to bed if you want.
Yeah. Airplane seats have gotten more, I saw a thing that was, it was like a proposed way of squeezing in more economy seats. And it's basically standing. It's a glorified standing. You know what I mean? Like there's like a sop to leaning.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm like, what kind of freaking Logan's Run weird Edge of Tomorrow future are we trapped in at this point?
Wasn't there another thing that was proposed? I don't remember if this is satire or real, which is like speaks to our times, but like they were going to like do tiers.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Of seating in airplanes. Yeah. And so it was like weird. Like you would be have someone's feet in your face basically, who was like right behind you, or just so they could fit more people into the plane. I don't know.
It's one of those things where, it just, everything they're doing to try to squeeze more money out of it is making me want to fly less and less.
I know. And sorry, I got up to shut my window. I was thinking I'll cut this out, but you know what? Screw that. We're getting real. This is real talk here. And I realized that normally I don't have my window open, but it was open and like all the sounds of the outside were coming in. I was like, oh, this isn't going to work.
I think your neighborhood needs to hear you bitching about the airline system.
Yeah. What do you think?
You need to stick your head out. You need to be like Network, That
would actually be funny if I was like, what do you think? And some guy walking his dog was like, about what? I was like, about airlines and like the crappy seating. Oh, that sucks, man. All right, take care. But no, shoot. I do not want to get off topic of what you just said because I am so on board with everything you're talking about. What were we saying?
Just airlines.
Yeah. The staggering, that sucks. Anyway, but that is funny
because we're at a point now. Sorry, we're at a point now where if you want to have a decent, decent experience,
Yes.
The decent quote unquote experience doesn't exist anymore. So there's like the insanely rich people experience.
Sure. Yes.
And then there is steerage.
Yeah, it's like Titanic all over
Yeah,
again.
so we're just chilling with Fabrizio and that Scottish guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, hoping a steam pipe doesn't fall on us.
I remember now. Okay. And yes, prices are going up, which is not making me feel better about like the less desirable conditions. And also, now all the airlines charge for you to check in luggage, right?
Yeah.
So that makes me want to do the luggage that fits, that you can put overhead, right? Like the smaller suitcase. But the thing is, the planes aren't equipped to hold that many carry-on suitcases.
Right.
So if you have like and that's the other thing, when you're it just keeps like compounding. And then when you want to check in, even if you check in right at the time they tell you to check in, by the second you are still somehow in group G. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that means you're going to go in like next to last with your carry-on suitcase that isn't going to fit. So you have to walk all the way to the back of the plane to your seat to see that there's no room left. So you have to go all the way to the front of the plane and fight all the people who are coming onto the plane now just to tell the flight attendant that there's no space for your bag. So they have to check it anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it is fascinating because the only thing that makes it make sense is when you realize that customer service is not actually the goal.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like it's just that left the hangar a long time ago. Yeah, that's good. It's just like, how do we squeeze as much value for shareholders out of this?
Yeah.
And it makes the whole experience worse. Anyway, that was just my series of thoughts when I saw this thing about, what's the ethical responsibility? I'm like, hey, yeah, this is me. This is crazy talk from Zachy. I want to go back to the days when leaning your seat back was not an ethical choice that you had to make.
Right.
I miss when it wasn't an ethical choice. It was just an option that you had.
Me too, man. Take me back.
I'm Zachy Hassan. That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, or it should be like, yeah. That's the way I see it. That should be like your new segment. I'm Zachy Hassan, and that's the way I see it. Or the way things ought to be.
That's right. That was the title of Rush Limbaugh's book.
Oh, I was like, yeah, that was somewhere in my brain. It felt like something. Yeah.
I remember reading that in junior high and being like, this guy is so smart. Right. That's what a freaking goddamn dumbass I was in junior high. You might say I was obsessed with Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah. And what? Oh. So you find yourself drawn to obsessions? So to speak?
I didn't realize it until this past week, and then suddenly the the threads started tying together. I did just see Obsession finally.
You know what? Okay, here's what I'm thinking. There's a couple movies I'd like to talk about very briefly, and I think I would like to save Obsession for last because I want to hear your fully spoiler-free, like,
oh, okay, yeah.
Let's get into it. Take. Is that okay? Like, I kind of make that the main review of this, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
And for people who are listening right now, so they know the movie.
Well, if you're listening to this is the bonus show. You're one of our obsessives.
Yeah.
So
absolutely,
and
hang
with us,
and we're obsessed with you. Like, let's obsess together.
I agree.
Yeah, and it, Obsession debuts on Peacock on July 17th.
Oh, does it really?
Coming up very shortly. So this is actually perfectly timed.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I look forward to talking about that. Well, I think you had another movie. I have like maybe one or two I was going to talk about real quick.
Well, I just saw Evil Dead Burn.
Tell me about it.
Well, I know you're the one to talk to about horror, Brian. You're like the
apparently. I don't know what's happened to me.
So this is the 6th Evil Dead movie overall since 1981.
Okay.
Right. The first 3 were by Sam Raimi, and then we got there was like a reboot in 2013.
Right. So, I mean, and for people who aren't aware of this series, I mean, the first three movies have a real authorship feeling to them, right? Like these are Sam Raimi movies, his sensibility, his humor, he's creating them. It's very much like a Sam Raimi feeling experience.
Yeah.
But then, yes, they made like a new one in 2013, which he might have produced or something, right? But
Yeah,
it's from a
he's
different
EP on all of them, along with Robert Tapert and Bruce Campbell is one of the producers too. Which is I'm glad he gets a piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Fede Alvarez did the one from 10 years ago, or from 13 years ago. He did Alien Romulus a couple years back, and then Alien or Evil Dead. I don't even know what was it called. Rise, Evil Dead Rise. That was 2023. That was Lee Cronin, who just had the new Mummy movie, which is not to be confused with the other the Universal Mummy.
Right. Which is probably why they call it Lee Cronin's.
Exactly. Like the name is supposed to mean something.
Yeah. Or I mean, typically, right? But I think a lot of people were like, "Who?"
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's definitely the reason they did that was so people would know they're not getting into a Brendan Fraser Mummy movie, which kind of puts an unfair sort of thing on Lee Cronin. Like, I didn't ask for them to put my name there, you know?
I know. That's right. And then this new one is Evil Dead Burn.
Okay.
And it is more of the same. So it's directed by a French director named Sebastian Vanucek, and I noted in my review that I think he's very skilled at directing. He stages scenes in interesting ways, you know. There's a lot of like overhead shots that I really liked, where you're getting the full geography of a scene from above. Like there's a car going down this long stretch of road, and the camera's it's like a helicopter shot way up, and so you see it from a distance as it careens off the road. And I just loved that, you know. So you're experiencing this crash at a distance, but it almost feels more real as a result, you know.
Right, like you're witnessing something in real life, maybe. Yeah.
And then there's a great oneer where you have a character on the ground as just absolute chaos, and you know, deadite mayhem is erupting around them, which I thought was very effective. I think it's like gory as hell. And this is one of those things where anybody listening, especially if you're a subscriber to the Patreon, you know, I mean, I'm certainly not a fan of gratuitous gore. I know you're not either.
I think that type of horror is what kept me away from the genre for so long.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is kind of a splatter film, right? I mean, it like revels in its liquids and fluids.
Yeah, a lot of goo and ooze.
Yeah.
Right. If you're not a fan of fish hooks in eyes and you know, fountain pens jabbed into ears, this might not be your ball of wax, you know.
Not for me.
So I was literally watching much of it through squinted eyes. You know, I was like deliberately blurring my vision. Or I guess in my particular sense, you know, I still need cataract surgery on my right eye, so I just closed my left eye and let the cataract eye do the lifting. You know?
May as well make it useful for something.
Get some use from it right now.
Yeah.
So I admire the craft, but and I can say, well, if this is what you like, I mean, you're getting what's on the tin. But man, it's rough. I don't know. I'm just I find it very cruel, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you're describing perfectly, the type of horror I don't really like and why I didn't watch a lot of movies, because I felt like for, you know, growing up, it was a lot of like slasher stuff, which I don't really connect with. And then I think in the 2000s, there was sort of the Saw, Hostel sort of, you know, misery, torture sort of horror. And I think the reason I've been enjoying it more is because it's been a little bit more story character driven, and there just happens to be horrifying elements involved. And so there's more for me to attach myself to, like dramatically, character wise. And so I've been enduring some of the, you know, horror elements because the stories have been so strong. But this sounds like something where it's like, no, you're going for the experience to see how gross can we get. It sounds
Yeah,
like.
it's definitely that. I I think what I realized is the original 3 Evil Dead films. But I've seen all of them, and you watch the first film now, and you're like, man, this is Sam Raimi cutting his teeth,
Mm.
And then the second one, you're like, okay, this is Sam Raimi. This is to Sam Raimi what the Road Warrior is to George Miller.
Mm-hmm.
Bigger budget to make the movie he really wanted to make. And the third one, the third one is to Sam Raimi what Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome is to George Miller, I guess.
Okay,
right?
sure.
Put some studio money into it, and now it's more of a mainstream movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I appreciate each of those on that level. Of the 3, I think the one that's most rewatchable for me is Army of Darkness.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's kind of comedy, like, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's yeah, I would call it a horror comedy. I mean, it's something. It's in the vein of Ghostbusters for me.
Yeah, like there's monsters doing Three Stooges routines with our hero, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And so these other ones. I mean, well, shoot. Now that I think about it, I don't think I've seen the Fede Alvarez one, or if I have, I don't remember it. But I saw Rise a few years ago, and I wasn't crazy about that either. I just found it very cruel,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And this one, I mean, I think the craft elevates it slightly.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I do think it's well made, but not my tempo.
Not your tempo.
Yeah,
I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's anyone listening probably knows from what you just said if it is or isn't theirs. So,
but I'll tell you, I mean, they spent like $20 million on it. They're gonna turn a profit, and they've already got the next one like shot and ready to go.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. Like I believe that's coming out early next year.
It feels like that's been happening more often. I remember with the 28 years later thing, right, where they had the 2, basically in the can. Then they put one out at the end of one year and the next one out. It's interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Investing in their IPs, I guess.
Hey, spend less, make more. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you could. I don't know about these 2 movies, but now that I think about it, with 28 years later, you have some of the same actors, you have some of the same sets.
Right.
So you're using the same sets for 2 movies. Makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Well, speaking of spending economically and sequels, I saw Jackass Best and Last.
Yeah.
Which there's not a whole lot I can say about this. Like, I think people already know their relationship to the Jackass series, whether it's, I got to see that, or I am never going to watch that in my life.
Right.
And I say, economic because this is being sold as their last film, but it is also a greatest hits movie. So half of it is new material where they're older now and they're doing a couple more stunts and kind of saying goodbye and getting a little teary about it occasionally. But they are also showing like the best of from the TV show, from the films. And, me and my buddy Michael went and saw it, and like we had a great time. It's funny because I think I never thought I was going to be a Jackass person. I didn't watch the TV show. When I was in college, someone rented the first Jackass movie, and I was like, seriously? Kind of a thing. And then I watched it, and I just laughed with tears in my eyes. And I had no idea that I would find it so funny. And I think it is absolutely stupid with a capital S. But I think what makes it so appealing is these guys are buddies, and they're in on the joke together.
Sure.
And watching them do stupid things and cackle, just fall over cackling with one another. Sometimes at one another, but mostly with one another. There's just something infectious about it. And then over the years, the stunts got more and more elaborate. And you're like, I would like to see Johnny Knoxville tape himself to a rocket and get fired into the air. Like what would happen? And so then you're in on the joke with them. And so I have enjoyed them. And this one I did enjoy. And actually, I left with my face kind of hurting from smiling so much. But I also feel like it didn't have me as much as some of the others because half of them are stunts I had seen before. Mm-hmm. So I think part of the fun of these movies is seeing something, them presenting something where you go, oh no, what is going to happen now? But with half of these, I had seen them already.
Interesting.
So you don't have that fresh giddy thrill.
Okay.
Although you are still laughing, remembering, oh, I remember this one. Yes, this, that kind of thing. And I think this one also leaned a little bit more into the gross kind of arena than I love, where it's more, speaking of fluids and goos. You know what I mean?
Are there any fountain pens being jammed anywhere?
No, thank God. But like there is poo. Okay. And yeah, I can endure a little bit of that stuff, but it felt like this one leaned into it more than I remember some of the other ones. And I was like, ugh. So I found myself doing the like you said, blurring my vision a little bit and kind of, I don't need this in my life. And at the same time, like I said, my face hurt from smiling. And so, definitely for the initiated and fans of the series. There was a moment, actually, I hope Michael doesn't mind me sharing this, but it was so funny. There's a moment where Steve-O is completely butt naked.
Okay.
And he puts a ping pong ball in his mouth. And then he sits down on this table and he shoots a ping pong ball out of his butt, like trying to pretend like it had gone through his whole body. And it was so gross and weird. And like you can't, just the base instincts in you are like, that's hilarious. You know what I mean? Like it's everything. And it's funny because then this ping pong ball shoots out of his butt. And then Michael like turned to me and he's like, I just feel like we have bonded on another level now. like, we have gone through this together. I was like, you're totally right. You're totally right. Witnessing that together. So anyway, it was funny though, just out of curiosity, I looked it up and this movie has an 89% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
And I was like, that is fascinating because so I Googled it. The first movie has a 49%. Second one has 66, 3, 67, 4, 80. 5, 86, this one, 89. It's amazing to me that it feels like people are sort of like, I kind of get this now. Like maybe there is something kind of weirdly comforting about watching these people.
Well, the first one was what, like 2000 or something?
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, you can just picture it like the generation of critics who watched
that's a good
that
point.
Movie, right? Like your Ebert and your Gene Shalit and your whatnot.
That's a great. You're totally right. You're totally right. And like I don't get this.
Yeah.
And I anyone who thinks this is ridiculous and is like I that is stupid and like you can't even convince me, otherwise. You're right. You're right. But for some reason there is something once you get to know the characters and watching them do all this stuff together and just falling over laughing with one another. It's like I said, it's infectious.
Plus, I think now is as good a time as any to stop.
Oh, 100%. I mean, these guys...
I saw the shock of white hair on Johnny Knoxville's head.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, God, is watching this... Is it going to be like watching Indy and Dial of Destiny where you're like, ooh, ah,
Well, they show a stunt. I think it's from the previous one where Knoxville gets into a ring with a bull.
Okay.
And the bull, it's a bull. The bull just, he's standing there and the bull just charges him and he flips. He does like a 360 in the air and then lands. And it's funny because he looks like, oh, did we get the shot? And they're like, kinda. And he's like, okay. And then he gets up and he does it again.
It's dedication.
It's dedication. And then this time, he gets an even better, flip out of him. And then it cuts to him with his, he's on a stretcher. His head is fixed to the stretcher because he has a concussion. And you're like, look, God bless you, dude. That was amazing. Like I was entertained.
Yeah.
But please don't die. Like, so
seriously.
Yeah. It's good. It's good that maybe they're stepping away now.
That's hilarious.
One more movie I'll talk about, and then I'm looking forward to talking about Obsession. Actually, there's another movie that I'm going to save for the next full episode, but I will throw out that I watched it just in case anyone wants to watch it and then hear me talk about it a little bit. And if you're interested, you can check it out. I watched How to Make a Killing.
Ah, yes. Yeah. I was watching that just last night.
Oh, I was going to say, I wonder if you two would enjoy watching that together. It's a Glenn Powell movie. And I will say...
That's why she's watching it.
Well, I was going to say, obligatory is Glenn Powell a star. The movie started, and I don't know, I have experienced this with every Glenn Powell movie where I'm like, I don't know, Glenn Powell, are you a star? And then when the movie ends, I'm like, I like that guy. That's the roller coaster I go on with him every single movie. This movie comes from John Patton Ford, who previously did Emily the Criminal with Aubrey Plaza, which is a movie I really liked. I will just say it's about a guy. He's sort of disowned at birth by a wealthy family. His mom is sort of the black sheep of this wealthy family, and then things happen, and they don't treat him or his mother very well, and he realizes, wow, I could get this inheritance if all these people died. Wait a minute, maybe I could kill them, which is a very dark premise. And I'll talk more about it. So I'm just saying, if you want to check it out, it's on HBO Max. That's how I watched it last night, because I was like, I don't use this app very much, and I am paying for it. So what's on here? And it made for good Friday night viewing, but it is a little dark. So okay. I'll talk about it more in the full episode. But if anyone's interested in checking it out, I wanted to throw that out there. I'll talk about that soon. But I have to talk about one movie, Zachy. And I'm realizing I might be the only person in my life who doesn't hate the Minions.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I know that people subscribe to the Patreon. That's what they're paying for, to hear you talk about Minions.
So this trailer has been playing in front of almost every movie I've seen for the past couple months. And every time, no matter who I'm with, they're always like, ugh. And I don't think Chad would mind me saying, he's just like, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's not like, who likes this? And I'm sitting there like stifling laughter at their goofy antics. Anyway, so Minions and Monsters comes out over July 4th holiday. And here's the thing. I learned what the plot is. The plot is basically, these are not the typical Minions we've been following. These are Minions in the early 1920s or 30s or whatever it is. And they go to Hollywood, and it's the Minions in old Hollywood. And there's satire of all, or parodies more like, of all these, like Citizen Kane and all these, old Hollywood films. And it's about them working in the industry.
So no Gru in this one.
No Gru. Mm-hmm. And first of all, I was like, that sounds kind of up my alley. Mm-hmm. I heard that George Lucas does a cameo in this. I was like, what does that look like? And I saw that it was actually getting good reviews. This is the first Minions movie to actually get good reviews. I think it's in the 80s somewhere. And so, under cover of darkness, not telling anyone in my life, I put on a fedora. I was like Raphael in the first Ninja Turtles movie. I put on a trench coat and a fedora, and I went to the movies and bought a ticket hoping no one would see me. And I went and saw Minions and Monsters on my own. And Zachy, I laughed. I laughed. I here's the thing. The first half of this movie, I loved. And it literally is them accidentally stumbling into Hollywood. Actually, I'll go back a little bit further. It shows them throughout history. Their whole shtick is they are minions to bad guys throughout history, right? And so they're always looking for a bad guy that they can work for. But while they're on this boat, and all the minions are working the oars and another minion's working the drum, like Ben-Hur style. There's one minion who's sitting with a drawing pad, and he's drawing the guy doing the orders, and he's coming up with these funny scenarios about what could happen. What's something funny that could happen right now on this boat? And then this other minion, his friend, like looks and is like, that's funny, and he's like, oh, really? You like my creative ideas? And they become this cute little duo where the one guy is this creative person coming up with these funny scenarios and drawing him, and his best friend laughs, and none of the other minions are amused or find it funny. And so basically through a crazy mishap, they wind up in Hollywood, and this creative minion is like, whoa, like you tell stories here? Like I like to tell stories. And so he develops a relationship with this director, and he directs all these movies and uses the minions as characters, and they work perfectly in the silent film era. right? Because that's basically what they are. They're like Buster Keaton's and Charlie Chaplin's doing this goofy physical comedy and reacting to everything around them. And they literally do then get in, parodies of Citizen Kane, which made me laugh out loud, and all these other films. And then what happens is the advent of sound, and they don't speak English. And so everyone's like, whoa, what? These guys are weird, and they're speaking gibberish, and we don't want to watch them anymore. And it makes him really sad. And so then then the plot goes into whole, like, let's conjure monsters from another dimension so we can make a monster movie. And we'll have our comeback. And that was kind of where the movie started to lose me, because then it just went into kind of crazy, chaotic, fashion, where I was like not finding it as witty. So first half of this movie, I actually genuinely liked, and I get why the critics enjoyed it. And if you think the Minions are funny, you're already in the bag for them and their antics. And people who enjoy old Hollywood stuff might enjoy the first 45, 50 minutes of the movie. But then it does descend into the thing that I think most people just are like, I don't, this is not for me. This is just chaos and silliness, and there's no there for me. And so sadly, I was like, oh man, this movie was so close to being great. And it just was like, yeah, okay. And I enjoyed seeing them do their goofiness as they were trying to fight the monsters. But the first half was so good. I wish the whole thing had held up. But anyway, so I walked out. Haven't told too many people about it till now. I'm spilling my guts. I went and saw Minions and Monsters, and that was my experience with it.
Well, I'm glad you feel comfortable sharing.
What is it with your kids? I mean, do they like the Minions movies or Despicable Me movies, or do you guys watch them?
I mean, I've watched the last few because I reviewed them. Not this one. Had I been assigned to review it, I would have watched it, but I wasn't sad not to catch the assignment.
Sure.
My kids have watched them all, but honestly, it's like in one eyeball out the other.
That's the thing. 100%. I mean, even when we were talking about Toy Story and Toy Story 5 in particular, like, look, is that movie as incredible, a masterpiece like maybe the first three? Maybe not. Yeah. But still, watching that movie, as I was watching it, I was like, nobody is touching what Pixar is touching. Right. Even when they're making a movie that isn't as good as the movies that came before, they just take these chances. They're not worried about potentially losing an audience because they are so confident in themselves. They're like, no, even if we slow down for a minute, you're going to care.
Yeah.
We won't lose you. Whereas I think the Minions, they're a little worried about losing kids, so they just go, full ham by the end. So I appreciate that Pixar can do that thing, but yes, Minions is completely in one ear out the other, maybe even as you're watching it.
Yeah. So would you say that this is the same?
Well, I haven't. That's the thing too. I find them amusing, I think, in doses. Mm-hmm. I remember I got a screener for one of them once, like for free in my house. Mm-hmm. So I was like, all right, I'll put it on even while I'm doing stuff. And I lost interest while I was watching it. I think it was this particular story because I found the one creative character very endearing and very sweet. Yeah. And I loved his ambition and his desire to tell stories. I thought it was very sweet. And his friend who supported him, I found their relationship very sweet. And so I would say once this is on Peacock eventually, if that sounds interesting at all, watch the first 45 minutes. You might enjoy it. And then you can decide if you want to stick around for the rest.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, very cool.
Yeah. I wouldn't call them an obsession of mine.
Yeah, that's good. my Padawan with the transition.
Oh, I am not there yet, but I want to learn
up so fast.
Yeah. Someday I'll be able to leap as high as you.
So I did finally watch Obsession.
Yes.
And I had been meaning to for a while, but specifically before Evil Dead, I wanted to watch it just so that I could.
No, don't do that!
I'm sorry, but I gotta. This was just a preview of a bonus conversation Zachy and I had where we caught up on things we've been watching, including the movie Obsession, which I gave a spoiler-free take on a few episodes ago, but Zachy recently saw it for the first time, so we were able to go into a full-blown, spoiler-filled review that's a little over 40 minutes long. If you want to hear the rest of that conversation, head over to patreon.com/moviefilmpodcast and subscribe to our special Patreon feed for only $5 a month. It'll give you access to all of our episodes and commentaries, all without ads and interruptions butting into the fun. Plus, you'll also find bonus conversations like this dropping around twice a month. So if you're interested in Abel, head over to patreon.com/moviefilmpodcast and subscribe. We'd be very grateful.